Situate. Former City Councilor Rita Young. Candidate for Lowell City Council, Stacy Hargis. And of course, someone who will follow us to the podium, Governor Mike Dukakis and his wife Kitty. I'd also like to thank the owners of Palin City for extending our hospitality.
Climate change, and on this, he's been a leader for over 30 years in the United States. And so it's for that reason that I support Edward Markey, because as Archimedes said, give me a place to stand and we will change the world. Over 30 years, nobody's told him where to stand, but he has worked to change the world, and I'm confident that with all of your support over the next couple of days and throughout his term, he'll be able to continue working on that. And at this point, I'd like to introduce somebody who's working to change it.
Just go out there making sure we get a win on Tuesday for our next Senator of the United States. Nominee for the presidency of the United States in 1988. Unfortunately,
thank you, Pat, thank you. Thanks so many of you for joining us today. 100 years ago, a young 15-year-old Greek immigrant from Western Turkey arrived in Lowell, Massachusetts. Didn't have a nickel in his pocket, couldn't speak a word of English. 12 years later, he was graduating from the Harvard Medical School and practiced medicine in Boston for 52 years. That young man was my father. So Lowell was a second home for us. Spent a lot of time here. 42 Humphrey Street in Centerville. That's where my cousins lived. That's where we played a lot of touch football in the backyard. As a matter of fact, at one point, my brother and I literally bicycled up here. We didn't do that. Some of you will remember that she was a great champion of this community. And in 1985, 1986, left here and went to the Thai-Cambodian border and told the American ambassador that she would not leave until he gave her permission to bring 250 unaccompanied Cambodian minors out of those refugee camps. 8 weeks to go in the Democratic primary, I was 40 percentage points ahead of Ed King. 51 to 11. Think about it. And I got beat. 51 to 11. Well, I came back, fortunately, with the help of a great many people and a great grassroots effort, and managed to be reelected and reelected again for a third time. But don't pay any attention to these polls, folks. Don't pay any attention to these polls. It's this grassroots effort that's going to get Ed elected, even as it got Elizabeth Warren elected.
200 people in Newburyport, 200 people in Brookline. A couple of days before that, we had 1,000 people come out to Worcester. 7,000 people came to Boston to see President Obama. And now we're back here in Lowell, in the Merrimack Valley, to the place where so many immigrant families came, worked hard, and ultimately succeeded. And in our state's history, at the top of the list is the Dukakis family. And I think 2 things are going to be happening on Tuesday night. We're going to be getting ready to enjoy and celebrate the Bruins winning the Stanley Cup. And we will we will be getting ready to celebrate the victory in this Senate seat in the state of Massachusetts. From Ireland. She was a junior. She was about to become senior class president and valedictorian when my grandmother died. Bridget Courtney just passed away with 5 daughters. And the social safety net was just one of the girls will stay home and take care of all the other sisters. And that was my mother. So she never got to go to college. She never got to realize her dreams because there was no Social Security. There was no Medicare. There was no unemployment insurance. There was no protection for ordinary families. When my mother got Alzheimer's, my father said, Eddie, we're going to keep your mother in the living room. It was an honor that your mother married me. I was a milkman, he would say, for the Hood Milk Company. Your mother was brilliant. She was going to be president of the senior class. It was an honor that she married me. And so my father, at age 80 and 82, 84, 86, 88, 90, he just kept my mother in the living room, just honoring her. And I learned a great lesson from my father. That families are loaded with heroes, but heroes need help. They need help. They need Social Security. They need Medicare. They need Medicaid. They need aid for education. My mother would always say, but my brothers and I, we would have different lives. Every child should have access to health care. But we cannot take the health care bill off of the book. I believe that the wealthy should pay their fair share to ensure that there are programs that are funded for every family in our society. I believe through my own family's history that we cannot take the Wall Street protections off of the books and allow Wall Street to be turned back into a casino again. And I believe for cities like Lowell and Lawrence that we need a ban on assault weapons. We need a ban on high-capacity magazines, which attach to those weapons. That the National Rifle Association, the NRA, should stand for not relevant anymore in American politics. So all of these programs, Social Security and Medicare, they are the foundation. They are the safety net. They are what it is that gives people some hope that their children can live far better lives than they. Every community, from Lowell and across our Commonwealth and across our country, are able to realize their dreams. That is what this fight is about. It is about the future as it's animated by the lessons we have learned from the past. And if we do that, if we make the proper investment, we can make this century the greatest century in American history. We need to actually, as well, ensure that we pass an immigration bill that gives people a pathway to stay in our country. I know my story is an immigrant story. Michael's story is an immigrant story. Your families all have the same story. It's all the same story. The details are slightly different, but it's all the same. That's what our country is about. And so my honor is to be here with you. And I need your help to ring the doorbells, to make the phone calls, to put out the get out the vote leaflets on people's doorstep, and on election to get the vote out in Lowell. If you do this on Tuesday night, we will be celebrating a victory that is sending a message to the rest of the country that Massachusetts is not just a Bay state. We are the brain state, and we know which direction this country is